Shit talking. I think that's what I need. I forget. Yeah, so this episode's gonna be about my first experience with music in general, from what I can remember. Because the last episode was about Metallica and what they mean to me and how I got into them. And this episode's going to be about it. Like, they're kind of reversed. It should be that this episode should be first and that one should be second, but regardless. As far back as I can remember, I'm trying to think. I remember being 4 or 5 years old, and I think the first music that I enjoyed was Elvis Presley. I'm going way back, and I think that's Elvis Presley and Elvis Presley, I would say, would be probably my first favorite artist. Going from that, my parents used to play me like Bob Seger, old time rock and roll. That song, for some reason, I loved that song when I was a kid, like little kid. Another band that was really influential on me at that time was the Allman Brothers, because my uncle, my mom's brother, was in a fatal car accident when I was, I want to say, 6 months old, around there. So I was born in 97. It was 6 months after I was born, I would say. And as I grew up, you know, that wound was still, you know, open. And that was, I forgot to say, the Allman Brothers was his favorite band. So they would play it all the time. And I just remember hearing just the bluesiness of it mixed with more of that southern feeling and just falling in love with it. Yeah, like Statesboro Blues, Rambling Man, Whipping Post, all that shit. I used to listen to that a lot when I was a kid. That, another one of his favorite bands was Leonard Skinner. They're still one of my favorite bands. Same thing like with Allman Brothers. I still listen to them to this day. But they were the bands that started my music obsession. Like yeah, Leonard Skinner. I remember, I think my dad had, like, was it the Greatest Hits or something? It like started with, it was by MCA Records, but I think it was a Greatest Hits, because I don't remember an album cover, because my dad used to have like those CD books in his truck, so it always just said MCA on it. But the track list went like Sweet Home Alabama, Swamp Music, I forget, but it was like a mixture from different albums, like Greatest Hits. But I remember listening to that a lot in his truck. A lot of my music listening was with my dad in his truck. We would listen to Godsmack, a lot of Godsmack, because you gotta think, at this time, this is like 2004, 2005. All that shit's popular. You used to listen to Creed a lot, Stained, Tool was a very big name when I was growing up with, you know, in music with me and listening. I didn't really like Tool that much because I didn't understand it. Now I love Tool because I understand it musically. But still, back then it was still an influence on me because it was still shit that I would listen to. I didn't ever really have a choice what to listen to. It was just whatever my dad wanted. Black Label Society is my second favorite band. I don't even know if they're second favorite. They're like on par with Metallica. If it wasn't for Black Label, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And I'm going to do a separate video. That will be the next episode in the journey. But yeah, Black Label Society, huge influence on me when I was a kid. I remember listening to Guns N' Roses a little bit. It was another greatest hits. My dad never really had like albums like that. He would get greatest hits and listen to that kind of stuff. What else? I'm going way back. He had some Velvet Revolver, which I really don't remember that much. I know who they are. I don't remember what they sound like. I know it's Slash and Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots. Oh, Soundgarden. I used to listen to a lot of Soundgarden. Audio Slave. Led Zeppelin. Nirvana at some point. That was a little later on. Pearl Jam was a little later on. I'm not really a big fan of Pearl Jam anymore. I would say the two biggest influences. Oh, I left out AC/DC. Very, like, if I wasn't listening to the Allman Brothers and Leonard Skinner, I was listening to AC/DC. I loved Angus Young. I loved Shook Me All Night Long. That was my favorite song. I didn't know what it was about at the time, but that song was my favorite song. Let me restate that. If it wasn't the trifecta of bands that got me into music was the Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, and AC/DC. I would say the songs, my first songs I remember hearing that I can remember back to, the first songs I heard, was probably Hound Dog by Elvis Presley, because my grandparents had played for me. My grandmother loves Elvis. And Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. The two songs I remember being my first songs. And then after, as I got older, I'm gonna go into right up until I discovered Death Magnetic. So let's say elementary school rolls around, middle school rolls around, my dad starts listening to Nickelback. Don't get me wrong, Nickelback has some good songs. I do not like them because there was a point in time where that's all my father would listen to. It was Nickelback for like a year. So that made me not like them because I got sick of them. And I don't like Chad Kroger, whatever the fuck his name is. They butchered Sad But True, I think. Everyone's got an opinion. I think they butchered Sad But True when they did that one cover. I don't like his voice. I hate that voice. Disturbed came along too around that time. Like Down to Sickness and all that. Everyone loves Disturbed, but they were some of the first music I listened to prior to me discovering Metallica. It was Metallica that brought it to another level. That's what started the snowball effect, if you will. But yeah, a lot of the bands I would listen to in elementary school and middle school before I would say I discovered Metallica probably the summer of 2008 going into 2009, because that's the summer between me from going to 5th grade into middle school. So up until about there, Another band I forgot, ZZ Top. Love ZZ Top. Kansas, Dust in the Wind, Carry On Wayward Son. I remember my mom listening to the song Dancing Queen. At the time when I was little, that was what I was exposed to. I forget who did that. I don't know. I don't like it now, obviously, but me being little, with being my sister in the car, we would dance to that song when I was little. My dad tried showing me Johnny Cash when I was little. I will touch on him in another episode. I didn't understand what his style of music was. When he showed it to me is when I was big into Metallica, and when I failed to mention this in the last video, but when I was having my Metallica obsession, if it wasn't heavy, if it wasn't metal, if it wasn't Metallica, I didn't like it. There was a time when I didn't like Ozzy, which I really don't get. I don't know how I didn't like Ozzy. Because it wasn't Metallica. I'm going to touch on Ozzy and Black Sabbath in another episode. Because they were... Ozzy was in my life prior to me hearing his music. Mainly through the one scene in Austin Powers Goldmember. When he's like, boobs, Ozzy! You know, that was my first time ever seeing Ozzy. And we used to watch that movie a lot when I was a kid. And I'll touch on this more in that episode, but fuck it, I'll just talk about Ozzy when I do the Black Sabbath Ozzy episode. Fuck that. I think that's it. Yeah. Three most influential bands that got me into music still is, it's Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, and AC/DC. And it was Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger and Hound Dog by Elvis Presley. That were my first songs I've ever heard, I would say, what I can remember. Yeah, that's my music story, origin story. Whenever I go back and listen to certain songs, like Seven Turns by the Allman Brothers, I would listen to it so much with that song, particularly with my grandfather. You know, it'd make me emotional. I would start getting choked up from that song. It's just all the memories we've had together. I mean, he's still alive, but that's our song. But yeah, that's where I got my start with music. Feel free to leave me in the comments you guys' musical origins were. These are unedited videos. I don't edit these. I have no editing software, so you get everything. The long pauses, the burps, the farts, the coughing, sneezing, whenever I'm sick. You get it all. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I can't really think of any other bands. So, on that note, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, push the like button because that's what you do when you like videos. And subscribe if you want to see more.